up from their chores of having to carry a baby and it's painful and all that kind of stuff. What a blessing it's going to be for all the women of the world. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to love it.
I'm sorry. Who would think of this?
This is crazy. And this is China doing this. It's weird because they were involved in depopulation and now they're trying to have more babies or what?
This is so stupid. It really is. Consider the society impact. First, they said, no, we don't have no babies for you. One baby, and that's it. And what happened that all the women who got pregnant, and of course they did, and if a girl baby was born, and that's all they had, they would often kill it because you have to have male babies to support your family going forward, right? So that this kind of resulted in like a genocide against female babies. So now they said, oops, we made a mistake. Oh, we have to have robot pregnancies now to make up the difference. Because then if we just could turn it off, turn it on, no problem, we can just make as many babies as we want and then shut it off, whatever.
Yeah.
This is absolutely insane. Only a technocrat mind would conceive this. Nobody else in the whole world would do it. And those people that do it, that kind of thinking about all this stuff in the first place, they're not doing it on their own nickel. You understand? There's no way. All these people their salaries are paid by the government or the taxpayers. That's the only way they can get money to do this stuff in the first place. So, to talk about a technocratic nightmare.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
And with this, I don't know if you're able to do this, but like with IVF where you can pick the gender, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that with this.
Well, look, of course they can.
Yeah.
Genetic engineering can do anything you want to do at this point. That's been settled. The only question is the ethics behind it, if it can be allowed by society. But you might remember Huxley's book, Brave New World. You may not have read it in 1932. You weren't there. I wasn't either. Me neither. But I read the book twice since. Brave New World was based on all children being incubated in artificial wombs. They were conditioned to fulfill a role in society, and they're genetically engineered to as well. And the women were given a role, just basically sex objects for any male. Love was forbidden. It was forbidden for women to be pregnant. Maybe they were all sterilized. I don't remember that, but they couldn't get pregnant. And what a wonderful society to live in, right?
Yeah.
This was 1932. How did they have this idea even back then?
Yeah.
That it would be possible. That was science fiction. There's a movie that was made, two actually. The original one. And there's been another one since, I think maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago. Another movie about you look it up on YouTube and find out exactly what it says. This was before its time, but at that point, that was 1932. That's when technocracy was being created in Columbia University. And Aldous Huxley from Great Britain, he knew exactly what was going on at Columbia University. That gave him the idea of the book in the first place. So, this was all seen somehow way back then. Now they have the technology to pursue it.
Wow.
Nobody, in other words, Nobody built a prototype of an incubator in 1932. That's no way. They couldn't do it, right? Now they think they can do it. Now, okay, so let's do it.
It's crazy. And so have they done any,
No, they haven't. No baby has been carried to term. I don't even want to think about how all the fetuses will be destroyed in testing this product.
Yeah, and if it were to come to term and actually live, how it would affect that person as they grow older. I mean, would they be getting the right nutrients they needed? And I don't know. They wouldn't have that human connection,
God help that child if that ever happened.
Yeah.
It would be probably the first crop would be freaks.
Yeah.
Destined to live a life of just, collapse basically from the get-go. I can't imagine. This is so inconceivable. But just the fact that somebody wrote the paper, they're experimenting with the technology that might make it work. They think, well, I got this tube here and took it into this thing over here and whatever. They're experimenting with all the hardware that they might use, and they're writing papers on it. It shows intent. It shows intent, if nothing else, right?
Really, what they're doing is trying to play God.
Yep, they are. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Oh boy, I know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Jump to the next story here.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We have Musk weighs abandoning the American Party in favor of supporting J.D. Vance. Well, this isn't very surprising, given that J.D. Vance is all buddy-buddy with Peter Thiel and right in line with the technocrats. So, I mean, I think we could have kind of seen that one coming, right?
Probably so. Some people are scratching their head, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Well, okay, first off, you have to remember Elon Musk gave $340 million to the Trump campaign, right? That's a lot of money. I'm sorry, in anybody's book, that's a lot of money. $340 million. Well, it got Trump elected. Then he was all buddy-buddy with Trump for a while, and he paraded around as if he was in charge of Doge. He never was in charge of Doge, by the way, not even for a second. That's another story. But then he had a big falling out with Trump. Oh, I hate your guts, you stinker body, a big, beautiful bill. It's this big, bad bill and all stuff. And so he gets in this major tiff and says, I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna go and create the America Party, new political party. That's easier said than done, I'm sure. But nevertheless, he has the money. He could do it if he wanted to. Now he's retreated. He said, maybe that's not such a good idea to do the America Party. I'll just go back and put all my weight behind J.D. Vance. And people are wondering what's going on. Most of the people that supported MAGA are still supporting MAGA. They think, what's going on here? Something's really weird. Well, you're absolutely right. J.D. Vance is a product of Peter Thiel. Period. End of subject. We saw this from the get-go. He had never had a job since he got out of college, except for Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel funded his businesses, his hedge fund, and he mentored him. So he's all in line with Thiel. And if that wasn't enough, if somebody could say, well, it's just an accident. Somehow J.D. Vance got associated with Peter Thiel, no big deal. But listen, Peter Thiel did the exact same thing with Blake Masters in Arizona. He was fishing for a swing state like Arizona or Ohio when Vance ran for Senate, the Senate seat in Ohio. It was bankrolled by Peter Thiel. He gave him like the biggest contribution in history, I think, like $13 million or something like that. Basically, he bought the seat, right? He bought the seat.
Yeah.
He did the same thing in Arizona. This Blake Masters moved from California, where he worked for Peter Thiel in his corporate office in California. If he had a title, it was like his executive director or something, a big title. And he moved to Arizona. Peter Thiel dumped probably maybe $10 billion into his campaign. He lost. I'm glad he lost. I wasn't responsible for it, but we tried to get him out of the race. But okay, now you have a pattern to look at.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel did it in Arizona. He did it over in Ohio. Ohio took. Arizona didn't. Blake Masters has lost 2 races already. He's certainly going to run again. But Peter Thiel was successful with J.D. Vance. I don't think he really cared a whit of who won, but he had his man that was in the Senate. That's how J.D. Vance got to be vice president.
Yeah. And there's the timer there. But one last point is, it seems like with some stories we've covered the past couple of weeks that that Musk and Thiel are working together pretty closely, because Musk was putting Vance's guys all in at Doge.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. Whatever disagreement would surface between Musk and Trump, that was just a showpiece. That's all it was, just theater. Underneath, they were all collaborating to get their people into Doge and into the agencies. And I documented this in a recent story on technocracy.news, and it's unmistakable that they were collaborating along the way.
Yep. Well, we got to go to break, but we'll be back here in just a moment.
July 6, 2005. This is Tom Harper. Man figures plankton stopped his rare cancer. We got more of a response from our viewers than anything else you and I have ever discussed.
Tom Harper, 20 years ago, he had mesothelioma, deadly lung cancer, was given weeks to live, and he just intuitively started to eat the phytoplankton out of his fish tanks because he fed the phytoplankton to his shellfish. He was a shellfish farmer. And when he went in for the surgery, the surgeon came out of the operating room and told his family, I have not ever seen anything like it. The cancer is benign, and Tom Harper lived for years. He retired in Hawaii. We're not making any claim.
Here he is in his own words.
Started on a daily routine of just taking a bit of paste, putting it in my mouth, and wash it down with a drink of water. Within about 10 to 15 days, here I am, less pain in my back. I knew that something was going on, so I just kept eating half a teaspoon of this paste a day. I was booked to go for surgery in Victoria, where they were going to do what they call a talc treatment. They went in there to have a look, saw something they never seen before, took 11 sites, sent them away for biopsy. I got the news back. Everything was benign. They just did not know what to make of it. Everything was absolutely clean. And I've tried dieting all my life because I'm a diabetic. If it's a coincidence or not, I don't know. My blood sugar started dropping. My weight started falling off. Here I am, no longer requiring insulin, and I was taking 88 units a day of insulin. I can eat just about what I want in moderation, and I have no elevated sugar levels, and I feel fabulous.
People, you hear the word cancer, and they want you to be instilled with fear. Cancer is nothing but a profound failure of the immune system. And what happened with Tom Harper is the phytoplankton is microscopic. It's God's microscopic food. And the Gatatiana is the most nutritionally comprehensive strain of phytoplankton in the world. David Hunter studied phytoplankton for 20 years because he worked for Tom Harper, and he was there in person and witnessed Tom's recovery. It's about getting pure nutrition inside your cells. And what happens, your body balances again or goes back to homeostasis. And when your body is pH balanced or in homeostasis, disease can't grow. It is literally microscopic, pure single cell plant food with protein and omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids, with amino acids and vitamins and minerals. 1 scoop a day. There's 90 billion plant cells in here just for everyday nutrition and energy and, cognitive support, because this is God's pure nutrition.
Go to melissahousegpa.com today. Discover the science and learn more about the wonderful benefits of Gaditana phytoplankton. That's melissahousegpa.com. melissahousegpa.com.
All right, welcome back from the break. Our next story is Doge's AI tool, SweetRex, set to take buzzsaw to federal regulations. So Doge started out with purging all the government employees, and now they are rolling in their different AI tools and software to replace them.
Oh, yes, indeed. What wonderful thing. This is Rex is following the naming convention of Doge. That was the symbol that on the screen right here. That was a symbol of the Doge meme coin originally, right? So everything is about dogs, and so Rex has to have this name, and this. So the sweet part, that's the guy's name that wrote the program. Okay, so it's SweetRex. Oh, isn't that cute? It's just going to be sweet. They say that's maybe he manufactured his name to reflect that. That's what young people say. Oh, that's sweet. But that means it's good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now this guy who wrote this program, he's a college dropout for one thing. he's like probably 22 years old. And he was a genius, kind of a computer genius, but he dropped out to go to work with Elon Musk and Doge. So this is the guy that wrote this program. Oh, what a wonderful thing. And will it work? Who knows?
And what exactly does the program do? Is it trying to find unneeded regulations?
Exactly so. The thing is, it's based on AI, obviously, large language models that they can't understand and like we can, but the idea is to root out conflicting rules, perhaps, and also duplicate rules, and somehow that make a mechanism to erase them from the books altogether. Well, we know that there are duplicate regulations. Like one agency has one thing, another agency says basically the same thing. You don't need it in two places, right? And then conversely, if a regulation over here says one thing, another one says something different over here, but they conflict with each other, one has to go, or one should go at one point, right? But at this point, the aggressive nature of this, let me just see back, looking down the article here. I saw one statistic on how much they wanted to remove. I think it's 40%. Oh, here it is. Doge is likely to use the AI tool to eliminate up to 50% of the 200,000 federal regulations by January 2026.
Wow.
50%. I'm sorry. I don't know what those regulations are. I don't have a clue, but I know most of them, some of them were spot on because they were necessary. But this tool is going to go in nilly-willy to erase up to 50% of those regulations. This is deregulating America.
And I'm sure they're going to have it target a lot of AI regulations as well.
You know exactly. You can just see this, the handwriting's on the wall. They want to deregulate AI especially, but anything else that gets in their way, they wanted to deregulate that as well. So this is just going to be catastrophic, and everybody at this point is given this a free pass. I can't believe this. Almost every media in the country, congressmen, senators, hey man, Doge is really going to help us out here. And consider what they've done already. It wasn't about saving money. They've only saved about 5% of the $2 trillion they promised in the first place. So that's
one
off
reason
the table.
it's not being talked about too is because they've created this narrative that the government's so overregulated. But some of these regulations are there for a reason, and we need them. I mean, especially some of the AI ones, and I'm sure a lot of them are important.
Has anybody heard of this thing called antitrust regulations?
Yeah.
For instance, that's so companies can't build up a monopoly and basically wipe out the market. Well, those are based on regulations. There is law behind it for sure, but the regulations are what make the whole thing tick. Regulations are created to support the laws that were passed legitimately by Congress.
Yeah.
This is big trouble. This is big trouble. I don't like it at all.
And it will be very hard to go through. I mean, if they really cut 50% of the 200,000, they're going to have 100,000 regulations to go over to see what it really cut. And
it's going to be chaos.
Which ones were reasonable and which ones were not.
It's going to be absolute chaos, just like it would be when Doge was first introduced to fire all the people that they did. There was like, I can't remember the number, but 3% of the federal workforce left in the first 2 weeks. Well, that left gaping holes in functions that everybody expects to continue, but all of a sudden, they won't work. And you don't see stories on this. I got feedback from an insider, so to speak, about they're calling people back that got fired because they realized, oh, nobody knows how to do that task or whatever it might be. Imagine if you got fired from the studio right now, what chaos would ensue?
Yeah.
Oh, where's that button go? Where's this wire go? How everything work? It was total chaos when all these people got fired. Just imagine what's going to happen now if they start in with the regulations.
Yeah,
it's going to be a nightmare because nobody's going to figure out that everybody's used to these regulations. Some of them really do need to be cut. Don't get me wrong. But just the fact that nobody will know how to make anything work because they're used to the old regulations, all of a sudden they're not going to be there anymore. How's that going to be executed on the public, for instance? Public won't have a clue on what to do in certain situations. They won't. They can't navigate.
Yeah, and when someone takes advantage of one of these regulations being taken away, then there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So anyway, it's a brave new world here as well.
Yeah. Well, we got one last article. This is what technocracy looks like. This is by Karen Schumacher. Yes,
that's right. That's right. Yeah. This is I really would encourage people to read this article because this is a kind of a human interest article. There was the minister of agriculture in Hitler's day was tasked. His task in the government was to manage all the food and make sure that the soldiers got their portion, the fighting people, and everybody else in society got their portion of food, right? This guy was labeled as a technocrat. Even in that day, they called him a technocrat. Okay, this is 1930, whatever, in the 30s anyway.
Yeah.
And so he took his job seriously, and he began to calculate how much food somebody could get by with until they die. So he created tranches of diets for people that they wanted to starve to death. They'd give them like 200 calories a day or something. And they'd starve enough. Sure enough, they would starve. So many people did starve. And then there was another tranche of calories for the slaves, if you will, who they wanted to work in the factories producing all the machinery for war. Those are mostly slaves, not free Germans, but they used the Jews, for instance, in the work camps. They gave them maybe 500 or 600 calories a day. That was just enough to keep them on the line. Some died, but that was, they figured no problem. Then the soldiers on the front line, they got their share. They had to have more than the people in Germany in general. And then all other people, like the citizens of the country that weren't fighting, they had another ration, maybe 1,500 calories or 1,200 calories or so, just enough to keep them alive. Thin, but not destitute, right? Well, this whole program and the POWs from the Russian captives, they were starved to death. All told, over 1 million people starved because this one guy, he's a technocrat.
Wow.
Who was
and the reason
incredible.
It's related back to technocracy is because it's the control of the production and distribution of goods, including food, in order to get people to do what they want.
That's right.
Or do what they want with the people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, read the story, everybody. Just read the story. It speaks for itself. You'll be shocked, but you have to understand the mind of a technocrat in the first place, because this is going to get really serious with our society soon, I think, when they take on this persona that they're the saviors of mankind.
Well, we're all out of time for today. We'll be back next week with new episodes. Till then, take care.
God bless.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It